I pointed out my husband reacted the same way. After my cousin's promotion announcement, my cousin hosted this big backyard dinner last Friday to celebrate getting promoted at her company. She's been there forever, worked her way up, and finally landed this senior role she'd been chasing for years. She invited family, coworkers, friends, probably 40 people total. There were string lights, catered food, one of those big champagne towers, the whole thing. At one point, she clinked her glass and gave a short speech about how grateful she was and how hard the last few years had been. Everyone clapped, cheered, hugged her. Everyone except my husband. He was polite, smiled, clapped, but I noticed right away he didn't look thrilled. Not angry, just off. Like his smile never quite reached his eyes. After the toast, he wandered away from the group and disappeared inside the house. I figured he went to the bathroom or to take a call. 20 minutes went by, then 30. When he finally came back out, his face was tight, like he'd been crying or trying not to. He barely talked for the rest of the night. On the drive home, he finally said something. "Did you notice how much she was rubbing it in?" he asked. I glanced over at him. Rubbing what in? He said the promotion, the speech, the champagne tower. It just felt kind of extra, like she wanted everyone to know she's better than us now. I didn't agree, but I let him vent. He kept going, saying how awkward it was, how people were obviously uncomfortable, how she disappeared earlier, and probably got emotional because she knew it was over the top. I waited until we pulled onto our street. Our kids were staying at my sister's place, so it was quiet. "You know," I said carefully, "you kind of did the same thing. When your brother announced his new job last year, the car went dead silent." "What are you talking about?" he said. "When Mark told us he got that offer in Seattle, you barely spoke all night. You went outside for like half an hour and wouldn't come back in." "That's completely different," he snapped. "How?" "Because we're not talking about me." I told him I wasn't attacking him, just pointing out that he was judging my cousin for something he'd also done. His voice got louder. I was stressed. I'd just been laid off. That was a horrible time for me. And she's been under pressure too. He shook his head. "You always do this. You wait and store things up so you can throw them back at me later." I told him I wasn't keeping score. I just remembered because it was noticeable. He didn't talk about work for weeks after that. He didn't even want to hear about job postings. We pulled into the driveway and just sat there. He finally got out without another word and slammed the door. I stayed in the car for a minute, then went inside. He was already upstairs with the bedroom door shut. I ate leftovers and watched TV alone. Around 11, he came back down, sat on the far end of the couch, and turned on a sports recap. I told him I wasn't trying to start a fight. He said, "You criticized my reaction, so I guess that means you get to judge me now." I said I wasn't judging, just being honest. We sat there in silence for a while. Then he said I didn't make my feelings. I slept in the guest room. The next morning, he barely acknowledged me. Got ready for work, grabbed his keys, and left. He texted me later saying he needed space and we'd talk when he cooled down. That was 4 days ago.